Hold on, it's saying going live. Go.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Shira. It's so exciting to see so many of you guys here with us as we open Shabbat together with Shira. If that we have together, it is a green sheet, looks like the one that Arya is holding up right. Shira, as with many other things that we do in Machaneh, is a tradition. We have lots of traditions here in camp, whether that's shtick that we do, or songs that we sing, or people that we make fun of. All of those things together make up what this Machaneh experience is. And traditions are important. And remembering our traditions involves remembering our history. Now, usually this would happen on a Shabbat afternoon. We would take a little bit of time to sit together and think about some things that have to do with our history. And we ask questions. We ask questions so that everyone can think about what our past has been like, and everyone can know more about our history. We ask those questions in the form of trivia. And the reason we do all of that is because
Machaneh trivia is integral to the future of the Jewish community.
Machaneh trivia question. Oh, how do you answer? That is a good question, because right now we're not all in one room together, we're on a chat. So, the question, and if you get it right, we're going to be monitoring the chat right there, and if you get it right, we will send you an IOU for a prize. A classic Machaneh trivia prize, a Magnum bar. So, with that, the first question. We do a lot of walking in camp, usually often hiking places, walking side to side, but we also do a lot of walking up and down. There are no elevators in Machaneh.
Can we pause it? The chat's working. They know what the question is. Right? That's good.
987, it's lower than 987, but close. 940, a little bit lower.
A bit lower than 940. Hold on.
Not
999 lower.
906 higher than 906.
984 lower. 930
Slightly
very
lower
low.
than 935, slightly lower.
933.
A little lower.
21.
7,
9.
1.
929.
18.
Good. Tempo.
A quick public service announcement. If your Wi-Fi is on, please turn it off. You are sitting here and you can do that. We want to do whatever we can to make the recording as strong as possible.
Airplane mode, everybody, airplane mode.
Great. It's great. We got a lot of answers. We just want to make it as good as possible. Alrighty.
I said that.
Michael Bridger got it. Jack Michael Bridger.
Question.
Now, in most years at this camp, the Machaneh Chutz happens twice every summer. One time first session, and one time second session. And it happens at the same place both times. Up the path from camp, we all know the hike, we've all been on the hike. But this year it was a little bit different. This year, there were hundreds of chutzes in many places all around the country and the world. But I think many of us know that the chutz at camp is a little bit different. Mainly for one reason, which is that at the Chutzit camp, there is a root beer tree. And unfortunately, even though it was cut down, the remnants of the root beer tree can still be seen from the road. Our question is, what is the name of the road that the Machaneh Chutz is on?
One second, was it spelled correctly? If they got the answer, was it spelled correctly?
Well, they didn't spell it right.
G-O-S-T, go after
Continuing in Alicia's theme, there are many things similar about this summer, many things that are different. One of the different things is a lot of us are indoors and indoor world. And the way we're accessing our camp experience is not by being physically in camp, but it's from our Indoor World website. Now that website hasn't existed that long, but it's been existing for a couple days already. You guys have got the password Krispy Kreme 2020. And our question for you today is about how the website's being used. And before I ask the question, my warning is the number that we're asking for is pretty high. Our question for you is, how many hits has the Indoor World website gotten since the pages went live? Nice!
Most people are guessing a little bit too low, a lot too low actually. You got a couple people in the range. The closest guess so far was from Alicia Gordon at 53,000. That was the closest. That's a little lower than that. It was a little lower than that.
How are you doing?
The closest one so far is Leia Fisher at 45,634.
But a bit
It's
higher.
a bit higher than that.
46,000.
Higher.
Can't you say within like 10? The exact number?
All right, Aiden Smolensky got it.
Done!
She guessed 46,073. The real answer was slightly off from that. It was
46,551.
I said
But
that.
we'll
but it was
take
close
it.
enough.
Aiden, well done. Hey, you shall get out to the green song.
Song number 5. Song number 7. Song number 39.
Rabbi Yameinu Sheivane, Sheivane Hamikra. Rabbi Yameinu Sheivane, Rabbi Yameinu Sheivane, Sheivane Hamikra.
Song number 24.
Zion, 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 Halakishami, 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 Zion, 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 Halakishami, Halakishami, Halakishami. Ay, 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 Zion, Zion, ay, 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 Zion, Zion, Halakishami, Shamasirani. Ay, 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 Zion, Zion, ay, 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 Zion, Zion, Halakishami, Shamasirani. Zion, 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 Halakishami, Halakishami. Zion, 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 Halakishami, Halakishami, Shamasirani. Ay, 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 Zion, Zion, ay, 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 Zion, Zion, Halakishami, Shamasirani. Ay, 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 Zion, Zion, ay, 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 Zion, Zion, Halakishami, Shamasirani.
Song number 40.
Yidu et Hashem b'simcha, yidu et Hashem b'simcha, lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yidu et Hashem b'simcha, yidu et Hashem lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana.
Song number 26. Tova Haaretz, Tova Haaretz Me'od, Tova Haaretz, Haaretz Me'od Me'od, Tova Haaretz, Tova Haaretz Me'od, Tova Haaretz, Haaretz Me'od Me'od. Song number 32 and 33.
Searching for a friendly face, hoping to find her stone. She walked up the steps and walked through the door. And what happened next? Had not before. You know, in the room, knock on the stone. In our hearts, our souls stand strong. You know, in the room, knock on the stone. In our hearts, our souls stand strong. She sat down on her bed, those two girls fighting at her. They began to laugh and share. They were friends for sure. She knew being Susie, laughed like God and sports. And those Shabbat up, they were about to shore. 2, 3, 4. Do not shake the floor. Off on its nose. In our hearts and souls stand strong. Do not shake the room. Off on its nose. In our hearts and our souls stand strong. On Shabbat, by the street, she learned the boy. Goes on around the lake. Hearts filled with joy, they were glad they met. They had so much fun. Who knew that one day he'd be her? What? 2, 3, 4. You know, take the room, not Father's soul. In our hearts and souls stand still. You know, take the room, in our hearts and our souls, yes, go. She has given a room now, what can they go to the choice of food? You make the cancer of the doom, Mahanesto, Balehu, Risho, Mahanesto, Balehu, Risho, 2, 3, 4. Imnashenu, Mahanesto, in our hearts and our souls, yes, go. Imnashenu, Mahanesto, in our hearts and our souls, yes, go. 20 years they've been around, showing what we can be. When seeds of Jewish showing continuity. Be a Rosh Gadol, that is crystal clear. They may pass the torch, but they'll still be here. 2, 3, 4. Just in the world, rock on the soul, in our hearts and our souls, stand so. You not in the world, rock on the soul, in our hearts and our souls, stand so. On the other side of death, not the holiday. Happy other day and night, happy other day. I'm not producing Allegheny. In our heart and one, a happy family. 2, 3, 4. You not change the world, my finest soul. In our hearts and our souls, stand so. You not change the world, my finest soul. In our hearts and our souls, stand so.
In our lives, there are years, there are months, there are weeks, there are days, and most importantly, there are moments. There are moments that stand out to us as we remember back, because those moments are the times that we pause. And the things that were swirling around us in our lives, even if they were still raging around, we were at the eye, we were at the center, and for us, things were still. Those moments are times to reflect and to reevaluate. And there are times that ultimately will stay with us for the rest of our lives. Slow Shira Machaneh, for many of us, and for me, is one of those times. And today, as we are here, and as you are here in spirit, but not in body, there are a couple of things that I think it's important to reflect on. But perhaps the most important is about what it means to be part of our community and part of any community. And so as we continue into the more, not solemn, but sincere part of our Shira, I think all of us should reflect and think about who we are as individuals, as members of our family, as members of our Camp Stone family, and as members of whatever other group makes up our place in the world. Song number 1. Just kidding. Of course, that was a good joke. My head got a little bit away from me there. Of course, in order to do that, in order to make sure that we have that time, we have to follow certain rules. And it is for that reason that there are 3 rules to Slow Shira.
Rule number 1, everybody must sing. Rule number 2, if you don't want to sing, refer to rule number 1. Rule number 3, if you really, really, really don't want to sing, be very, very quiet.
We'll begin with song number 20. Song number 37. Song number 18. Song number 88.
Shira.
Song number 25. Song number 36. Song number 22. Song number 28. Song number 12. Song number 4. Song number 17.
רחמים תשוב ותשכון בתוכו אשר דיברת ותשכון בתוכו אשר דיברת ומיוסה ויאמינו בניין עולם ותצא תביא רבי עבדך אור מהרה לסוף הספי ולמיוסה בקרוב בניין עולם ותצא תביא רבי עבדך אור מהרה לסוף הספי.
Don't be misled by my elderly appearance. I feel quite invigorated. My name is Tony. Some people know me as Tony Amagel. And I'd like to tell you my story. When I was young, I was raised by my grandfather, who sat me on his knee or when he tucked me into bed, always told me the stories of the Tanakh, the miracle stories of Eliyahu Hanavi and Elisha Hanavi, and the stories of the Jewish people in the desert. And I was fascinated. And I developed through my grandfather a tremendous relationship with Hashem. I felt like Hashem was my father in a way. I could always turn to him. I could always look at him for help. Let me tell you a few stories from my childhood where actually I really felt the presence of Hashem. And I felt that Hashem was directly answering my tefillot. One time I was a young boy, and I was traveling, I was walking through a field, kind of wandering around. And all of a sudden, I saw a wolf. I was terrified. Everyone knows that wolves are extremely dangerous. And I started to run, and the wolf was chasing me. He wasn't so close at first, but as I ran, he got closer and closer. And I saw at the head a churva, an abandoned building that was very old. And I was always told, never go into the churva. It's very dangerous there too. But what did I do? I had to escape, and I ran into the churva in the front door, and the wolf was coming in the back door. And I said, Hashem, you have to help me. And I ran through the back door, and as I said it, the building collapsed, trapping the wolf inside. And I was saying, I couldn't believe it. A few years later, I was walking through the forest, and wouldn't you know it, another wild animal, a lion, approached me. And I was terrified again. How can I survive an attack from a lion? But I remembered the story of David and Goliath, and I took from my pocket my slingshot, and I had one shot, and I shot the lion and wounded him enough just to scare him off, and I was able to run home, back to my grandfather. And again, I felt like Hashem was guiding me and directing me and answering my tefillot. You'll never believe the next story. I was walking along the riverbed, and I fell into a well. Isn't that crazy? I fell into a well, and in the well were snakes. I hate snakes, and they're very dangerous. And I prayed to Hashem, save me from the snake. I didn't see anybody escape. And all of a sudden, I hadn't seen it before, there was a branch. And I grabbed the branch, and I was able to scurry up the inside of the well, and I was able to escape from the snake. And I felt, Hashem must be guiding me. Hashem listens to my tefillot. I'm so connected to Hashem. I have to be honest, I felt pretty special. And I would tell these stories to other people, and people believed them, and they felt I was special too. There was something about me, I don't know exactly what it was, but I guess it was my connection to Hashem. And one time, as I was older already, I was a young man, and the people were suffering because there was a famine. And I have to tell you, I had a pretty easy life. I know I had these crazy stories, but because I felt Hashem protecting me all the time, things were good, and my relationship with Hashem was secure. And I'll tell you about the famine in a second, but the truth is, there was something that was always bothering me. No, I used to read through the Tanakh and read through Sefer Tehillim, which is a great way for me to express my love of Hashem and my relationship with Him. And there was one pasuk that always bugged me. Shir ha'ma'alot b'shuv Hashem v'shivat Zion hayinu k'chomim. You know, the Jewish people, it was saying, when they came back from exile, the exile of Babel, a 70-year exile, they were like dreamers. And I said to myself, dreamers? You can't dream for 70 years. I know it sounds like a simple question, but that question really was gnawing at me. It probably was gnawing at me in a more symbolic way, but it really bothered me. What does that pasuk really mean? We were dreamers for 70 years? I don't know. Anyhow, back to the famine story. So there's a famine. And the people came to me, they said, Choni, we have no other option. We need you to ask for rain. We need to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for rain on our behalf. And I said, no problem. And I have to admit, I was pretty bold. And I drew a circle in the ground. That's where my name comes from, by the way. Choni HaMa'agel. He makes circles. I stood in the circle, I demanded from Hashem that He bring rain to the Jewish people. And you know what happened? Hashem responded. First a small bit of rain, then a lot of rain. And I said, no, Hashem, I don't want a lot of rain like that in a way that's dangerous. I want the proper amount of rain. And He listened to me again. And everyone was duly impressed. Except for one person. There was one man, a leader, named Shimon ben Shetach. He wasn't very happy at all. He felt what I did was a little bit stepping over the line, if you will. He felt I was going to be demanding too much from Hashem. I wasn't sure. Anyhow, I'll tell you one more story. One time I was an older man, probably about 40, 50 years old. I was walking along, and I was in a field, and I see this young man planting a tree. I said, sir, what kind of tree are you planting? He said, I'm planting a carob tree. I said, carob tree? Why are you planting a carob tree? How long does it take for the carob tree to bear fruit? He says, approximately 70 years. 70 years? You're not you're young, you're not that young. You're not going to be able to see this tree bear fruit. Why would you waste your time with planting a carob tree? And he said, well, all the other carob trees we have, who do you think planted those? My grandfather or my great-grandfather. So I'm going to plant a tree now for my grandchildren. I thought that was a pretty interesting answer. And I walked along, I was feeling tired, and I lay down. And you know what must have happened? I fell asleep into a very, very deep sleep. And I kept sleeping and sleeping. And I woke up and I saw right where I'd been a moment before, maybe a couple hours before, where there had been nothing. All of a sudden it was a huge carob tree. And I asked this young man who was on a carob tree, I said, sir, are you the one who planted this carob tree? He said, no, I didn't plant that carob tree. I said, who planted the carob tree? He said, my grandfather planted the carob tree. As they say, Nafali HaSimon, I suddenly realized I had been sleeping for 70 years. 70 years I've been sleeping. And I realized in that moment exactly what that pasuk meant. Hayinu kechomim. Hayinu kechomim means we were dreamers. The idea of dreaming is the idea of not relying on miracles from Hashem. That's not what dreamers do. The man who planted the carob tree wasn't relying on an outright miracle. Of course, he believed in Hashem and he felt the presence of Hashem in his life and he trusted in Hashem, but he also trusted in his own actions. And if you combine trusting in your own actions with faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then in fact, that's a fulfillment of a dream. Because then his children, his grandchildren, were able to benefit from what he planted. But the truth is, I have to be honest with you. My name's not really Coleman. After all, this is the year 2020. I just told you a story that happened in the time of the Tanaim, about 1,800 years ago. But my name is Bnei Yisrael. The truth is that Bnei Yisrael also had interesting experiences. They experienced miracles, and they've been raised on stories. And they also had experiences with a wolf, and a lion, and a snake, in the form of their enemies. And they were saved. And I think they also had an experience where maybe they had to draw a line, draw a circle in the ground. Perhaps that was the Chalutzim, the early pioneers who went to Eretz Yisrael and demanded, as it were, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He help them turn the swamps into cities and the desert into gardens. And the truth is that 70 years later, that carob tree had been planted, the carob tree of the declaration of the state of Israel. And here I am now, 70 years later. If that's what a dream is, let me never wake up.
Song number 60. Song number 71.
Hashem Mazah, B'Terem Yitzir
So Thank you everybody for joining our Shira. We miss all of you guys a lot. We treasure every moment we get to spend with you guys in our indoor program. You guys are all part of our Campstone community. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for continuing our pre-Shabbat program. Peanut butter jelly time, Friday hikes, continuing, and see you all at 6 o'clock for Bidika on all of your bunks, followed by 6:30 Mifkad, Kahol V'Lavan, of course. I know time zones, it's complicated. You guys could do it. 6:45, and then following Mifkad will be Kabbalat Shabbat. Can't wait to see all of you there. Shabbat Shalom.